Happy Thursday. it is time to dive into AI with Meredith, and I am happy you're here. Happy Thursday. I hope all is well. I am just going to bring this up on my phone and share it out to a couple of places, and we are going to get right into it. So, I'm gonna give you guys a couple of minutes to get in here. And we're going to be talking tonight about how you can get started selling AI art because that is a really common question that I see in the Facebook group, Easy AI Prompts. So, I want to talk to people about how they can actually get started selling their AI art because I know a lot of people are creating art and they don't know quite how to sell it. So, I want to go over some of the ground rules, some of the techniques and strategies that you need to do that. And I have a resource that I'm going to share with you all. So, if you hang around to the end, you will be able to get that resource. So, I'm done sharing out into the group. So, if you are new here, I am Meredith Hurston. I am an AI consultant and trainer. Um, Lately, I have been teaching people how to use Stable Diffusion. I have been teaching a workshop called Create Your Digital Twin. It's been going super well. I just recently had my most recent workshop this past Sunday, and that cohort of students got some amazing results. The first cohort of students was December 30th. They got some amazing results. So it's been a lot of fun so far. I have three more upcoming workshops that have been scheduled through the end of February, but I am going to get some on the books for March. But if you are interested in learning how to take your own photos and turn them into AI generated images, what we do is take your photos and we fine tune a machine learning model. And then that way we can basically have like a virtual photo shoot. Like you can have a photo shoot, but you don't got to get dressed up to go have your pictures taken with the photographer. You can do it in Stable Diffusion. So that's what I have been showing people how to do. So, and that's going really well. It's a lot of fun. I always get excited when we get to the part of class where people are like starting to generate their first images. That's the funnest part of the class because people are like, oh my God, this is so beautiful. And I will say, however, I got a chance to work with, she posted it on her page today, but I got a chance to work with Shauna Jones last night, and we were doing some work, and we were supposed to be creating a black woman, like we had fine-tuned the model and stuff, and the lady was white. And I was like, what is happening? Oh my God, what is happening? That was so unexpected, but it just kind of shows you the bias that is built into AI, into machine learning models. And that's why I feel the work that I do is important. The people that are working in the AI community, people that are training the models, working with these vendors, working with these tools, it's important that we give them feedback so that they are aware. I mean, we are consumers just like every other demographic, and we absolutely deserve to be represented. And that's feedback we have to provide. I'm not gonna say that they don't know, but they may know, but it drives the point home further when we share our feedback. And you can share your feedback directly, with these vendors, like on Twitter. You can find, like, you can tag the companies on Twitter or tweet them. You can send them emails. You could try sending messages on Facebook. However it is you feel most comfortable communicating with the vendors. um definitely definitely do that. Uh-oh, is that my computer making noise? Why is my computer making noise? Please don't fail me now. Oh no. Okay, so hopefully you guys can hear me. I am not going to fret, but I need to bring my comments up, so let me make sure I can see my comments and reactions. Okay, so if you guys can hear me well, and please give a thumbs up or a heart or something down in the chat. And also let me know where you're tuning in from. I am based in Baltimore, Maryland today. It's kind of, well, that's where I'm based, not today, but I'm based in Baltimore, and it's rainy and like overcast and foggy. That's the right word. It's really foggy here today. And it's kind of wet outside, but it was warm and it was like 58 degrees, I think, when I was coming home from work. And tomorrow it's supposed to be almost 70. So it's like unseasonably warm. That's kind of creepy for it to be 70 degrees in January in Maryland. That's a little bizarre. But at any rate, we are getting into how to sell your AI art, because that is a really common question for people that come into the Easy AI Prompts Facebook group. So I figured I would tackle that tonight. And if you have any specific questions, go ahead and drop those down in the chat, and I will get to those as I kind of go through my thoughts and ideas on how you can get started selling AI art. Um, so I'll be on the lookout for those down in the chat. All right. So one of the things I wanted to do first, I'm going to share my thoughts on how you can get started in the platform, some of the platforms that you can use. And I'm going to kind of go in a little bit of order. So I don't want to forget. So, okay. First things first. When you are interested in selling your AI art, it's super important that you understand the terms of use for the AI art generator that you're using. So if you're using something like Bing, Midjourney, DALL-E 3 inside of ChatGPT, Stable Diffusion, you need to be clear on what the terms of service are, because not all of these AI art generators allow you to sell commercially. So Bing is one that did not allow commercial use, and there's been some murmurings that they recently changed their terms of service. I haven't taken a look at that. Last time I looked at Bing's terms of service, it said that you could not sell commercially. So anything generated out of Bing AI, you aren't able to, sell that on Etsy. That, that would be problematic. And I want to get a little bit more into why you don't want to do that. So when you create an image using AI, or usually when you create an image using a lot of different techniques, there is something called metadata assigned to these images. And metadata is embedded into the image, or it's like attached to the file, and it's not something that's visible on the image. So you want to beware of metadata, because if Bing tells you that you aren't able to commercially sell an image and you're like, oh, well, they don't put no watermark on it, I'm gonna just put it on Etsy anyway because I'm trying to get these coins. So Bing can still tell. Bing knows where that image was generated. So if your thinking is that, well, it's not watermarked, so they're not going to know, don't be so quick to assume that. That would be making an assumption that you may not be able to take to the bank. That may cost you some money, in the long run. So you don't want to make those types of assumptions like, oh, they aren't going to know, because it's not really worth the hassle. You can use Playground AI. For example, they do allow commercial use. If you pay for a ChatGPT subscription and you have DALL-E 3, you can use DALL-E 3 commercially. You can use Midjourney commercially. So there are tools that you can use commercially. So just be aware of the terms of service, and you can take the terms of service, or like the link to the terms of service page, and drop it right in ChatGPT and ask it to explain it to you, in like plain language, or say, explain it to me like a fifth grader, or explain it to me like I'm 5. Ask it to explain the terms of service to you. So that's number one, is know the terms of service for the platform that you are using to create the AI art. Okay, so the second thing that I want to approach is platforms that you can sell from. So when you are ready to sell your AI art, you want to make sure it depends on the use case. So say if you're selling something like stickers or something, that can be a small pixel size. So you might be able to get away with a pixel size that's like 300 by 300 or something like that. For the most part, usually the AI generators will generate in a size of 512 by 512. That's usually the smallest. So you can get away with a 512 by 512 image, as a sticker, because a sticker is usually no more than 2 inches by 2 inches. So that doesn't need to be what's called upscaled. So upscaled basically means you're making the image larger, like you're making more pixels. The image can be printed at a larger size and still maintain its quality, still look high quality. It's not going to look pixelated and grainy when it's upscaled appropriately. So it really kind of depends on the use case of the image. So say, like a standard sheet of paper, 8.5 by 11, like a standard you guys know what an 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper is, a standard sheet of paper, like copy paper. So if you wanted to have an image that size, you would need, let me see, where is my calculator? And you want something to be a good quality image. A good quality image is going to be 300 pixels per inch. So let's see, 300 times 8.5, and then 300 times 11. So you would want, for 8.5 by 11 image that you want to look high quality, it would need to be 2,550 pixels by 3,300 pickles pixels. So that's a good way to determine like what pixel size you need. So you would need it to be 2,550 by 3,300 for 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. Anything less than that is potentially could look pixelated and grainy. Like if you try to use like 96 pixels per inch or something like that, that could look grainy when you blow it up. Say if you want to blow it up and make wall art out of it or something like that, it's not going to look as sharp and crisp as something that's 300 pixels per inch. So hopefully y'all got that. So that's thing number one, is you want to make sure that you have your images upscaled when you're ready to sell them. When you are upscaling your images, there are a few different platforms out here that you can upscale on. I have a paid tool called Gigapixel. Gigapixel is a one-time cost of $99, but there are other upscalers out there. You can just kind of Google like image upscalers, and you probably could come across something that's free. Um, I know Midjourney has upscaling inside of it. So if you're already using Midjourney, if that's where you're creating your art, you can upscale right inside of Midjourney. I think it will allow you. Let's see. Let me spin up Midjourney. I think it'll allow you to go up times 4, if I'm not mistaken. And then I use Playground AI sometimes too, and that has an upscaler as well. And I don't know if that's times 2 or times 4, but there are various image upscalers that you can use that you may not necessarily have to pay for. So just Google, image upscaler, and see what you find. And again, depending on the size of your final image that you're going to be selling, that will determine how many pixel sizes, what pixel size you need it to be. So if that's not clear for anybody, please drop a question down in the chat and I will try to answer your question as best as possible. So if you guys are following me on Facebook, I am trying to grow my YouTube channel. So I have been trying to steer people over to my YouTube channel. I'm trying to get to 1,000 subscribers. I have 800 and some now. So to all my new followers, thank you. I appreciate you subscribing to the channel on YouTube. And if you are on Facebook, I would invite you to come check me out over on YouTube. And I have a link somewhere. Let me see. I gotta find the link. I have a direct link to my YouTube that I use to invite people to. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to find it like right on the spot though. I'll try. But Okay, so let's get into. Hey, Mill, how are you? Good. I'm glad that was helpful for you. So, let's get into platforms that you can sell on. Like once you've decided like what type of, image you're going to sell and the reason that you're selling it, so you know what size to make your final image. Let's talk about some places that you can sell your AI art. So, in addition to making sure it's the right size, you want to make sure, because with AI, you want to check the quality of your images. Sometimes, the eyes can be off, the teeth can be off. It could be various things going on with the image. So sometimes you need to do a little bit of light editing. You can do editing in tools like Photoshop, Photopea. You can do a little bit of light editing in the image generator itself. Like if you use Midjourney, you can do a little bit of, it's referred to as in painting, or I think they call it Very Image. You can do some in painting right in Midjourney if you need to edit your image. So just make sure you're taking a look at the quality of your image, because that's what's going to catch people's eye when you have, something stunning that's neat, that the eyes look symmetrical, and the teeth aren't, all wonky or whatever. And especially the hands. People know now, like because everybody's kind of like, is this a real image or is it AI? So they kind of start looking at the hands to see what the hands and the fingers and stuff are looking like. So you want to make sure that your hands and fingers are together. And if it's, weird stuff going on with the hands, let me give you a pro tip. It depends on what you're trying to do with the image, but you can crop that stuff out. You don't have to use, like, if it's a full body picture, or if it's like, the head up to the torso or whatever, resize that image, crop that image, and make it look good. Just if they have jacked up hands, take the hands out of the image. I mean, like if it's, hands on the face or something, then you might not be able to crop that out, but you might have to play around with the image, or, cover it up with something. You could cover it up with a different element. You can take the image over into Canva and you can cover up, whatever the flaw is with some sort of element that is complementary to the image, or you can like repurpose that image for a different purpose. Like, don't make that, if it's an image with jacked up hands, don't make that be like cover art for a book or something like that, unless you are able to successfully cover that up, because people aren't necessarily going to want to buy that. So hopefully that makes sense for you guys. Let me see. I'm looking at my Midjourney and I want to give you guys an example of upscaling. Okay, so I'm going to share my screen. Maybe. Okay. All right, so I'm inside of Midjourney, and so you have the ability to upscale times 2 or upscale times 4. So Midjourney, let's see. I don't know what this image size is. I think Midjourney generates in 1024. So if you do times 4, let me just click upscale right there. That's one of my Christmas images. So 1024 times 4 is 4096 pixels. So if you divide that by 300, that's going to give you this image. Once you upscale it times 4, is going to be 4096 pixels by 4096. So the inches, the equivalent high quality inches for that is 13.65. So that's a pretty good size image. That's definitely would qualify as wall art. So once that gets upscaled, you would be able to get that printed out fairly decently. So it's still taking a minute to run. So, and I think that I did hear that upscaling Midjourney is a little bit slow. So we can come back and check this out a little bit later. I'll let you, it'll give me a ding when it's ready. Does anybody have any questions about upscaling before we kind of move on to platforms? So, platforms that you can sell on. I would say the easiest platform probably to get started selling is Etsy. So you do have to like open up a shop on Etsy, but it's not terribly complicated. And I am going to share a resource at the end of this live stream where you can get some help with setting up your Etsy shop. You can get some coaching and things like that on setting up your Etsy shop. But setting up Etsy is not too terribly difficult. So Etsy, their Shopify. Shopify comes at a bit of a higher price point, so you need to make a little bit of an investment. When you get started on Etsy, that's pretty low cost. Etsy charges you 20 cents per listing, but actually there is a link available so that the resource that I'm gonna provide for you, you can get your first 40 Etsy listings for free. So stay tuned till the end to get that resource. So Etsy charges you the 20 cents per listing when you list the item, and then they have a fee when you sell, but it's not anything super expensive. It might be like somewhere between 3 and 5%. So it's not too bad. And when you are pricing your images, like when you're pricing your products as you sell them, you may want to, bundle like more than one image together. And then that way you can sell it at a higher price point. Or if you sell just like individual images, you can, look and see how much other people are selling their images for and kind of sell yours at a similar price point. Like you don't want to sell, like if people are selling single images on Etsy for $5, I mean, unless yours is just, the bee's knees, you wouldn't want to sell one individual image for 20 because you may have a harder time selling that if everybody else is kind of selling for $5. But, you can play around with your price point and see where you are successful. But usually the name of the game on Etsy is more of like a volume play. So let me go back to my screen share so you guys can see this upscaled image just finished. So this is the upscale image. I'm going to open her in the browser and I want to see if I can compare. So this is the upscale image. So she looks pretty good and crisp. You can see her little freckles. You can see her hair. Her hair looks nice. The little snow hat looks nice. You can see like the little faux fur and all of that stuff. So let's go back and look at this first image that was not upscaled. This one. So this one, I don't know how well you can see this, but this looks less crisp. It looks a little more pixelated, if that makes sense, when you compare it to this one. And I don't know if you guys can tell the difference, but like her eyes look a lot more sharp. The colors are more vibrant. I would say like if you look at her eyebrows, you can see the details in them. Like you can see the strokes of the hairs a little bit better. So this is the upscaled image versus the non-upscaled image. This image is not as crisp. It's definitely more pixelated. And I'm not sure if you can see that on the computer, but I can see it. I have a dual monitor set up and I can see that this the 1024 image is not as vibrant and crisp as this 4096. Okay, so that's the basic concept of upscaling. All right. So getting back to selling platforms. So we talked about Etsy. And there's like, Etsy, I would say, has a learning curve, but it's a pretty small learning curve because you basically have to set up your shop, put your details on there about, who you are as a seller, what you sell, and then you have to create listings for your product. So there is a bit of a learning curve about how you can create listings for your products. But y'all, ChatGPT like has these GPTs, like there's GPTs for everything. So you can go over to ChatGPT and find one that will help you with your Etsy listing. You just kind of give a brief description of, the product that you're trying to sell. If it's a piece of AI art, just put, a description of the product and have the GPT, write your listing for you. It's pretty, that's pretty simple. So don't let that scare you or, talk you out of doing it. The next platform I mentioned Shopify, and I mentioned that that's a little bit higher price point. I don't necessarily recommend that people use Shopify out of the gate because I think their basic plan is $29 a month. And with Shopify, you can kind of rack up extra charges pretty quickly because they have like different apps or plugins. I think they're called apps on Shopify. They have various apps you can use to give different functionality to your site, and you can go a little bit, crazy with adding various apps and stuff to your site, and you could easily end up spending, $50+ a month on Shopify fees. And depending on, what your finances look like, you're just getting started. You may not want to spend that type of money on your store when you're just getting started or you testing out an idea with selling AI art. Another tool that you could use in addition to Etsy and Shopify, there's something called PayHip, which is basically just like a little shopping cart where you can put your art on PayHip and you can sell individual products. And there is another tool in addition to PayHip called dang it, I just drew a blank on it. Let me look it up. And I use Gumroad. It's called Gumroad. So you can put products on Gumroad and sell them. And one of my favorite, I guess I'm kind of old school, and you can also use things like Wix, Squarespace. It's all sorts of ways that you can set up a shop to sell your products. My old school way, because it's been around for a long time, is WooCommerce. So WooCommerce is it uses WordPress framework, and I don't know, you might have to be kind of familiar with building blogs or websites, but WooCommerce is the tool that I use to sell my digital products online in addition to Etsy. So there's all sorts of tools that you could use, but I would say a great one, two of the great ones to get started that are probably the lowest cost if you're just trying to test the idea would be Etsy and PayHip. So take a look at those and decide which way you want to go. One of the good things about Etsy is Etsy has already established traffic. So if you are, new to selling online or just kind of new to selling, period, there is a little bit of a built-in audience on Etsy, but you have to make sure that your listings, are tight, and that you're going to be able to send traffic to your listings to kind of get you going, because once you have a few sales, then I think Etsy is more likely, because everything, all these websites have what's referred to as algorithms. So once you have a few sales on your Etsy site, I feel like they kind of drive more traffic to it. The algorithm drives more traffic to it, but you have to get probably the first few initial sales on your own. And that's with anything. And that's kind of the point that I wanted to drive home. I have one of my big sisters in business, Letitia Austin, and also Lamar Tyler. Like, they're really big on traffic, and traffic sales and profit is actually, it started today, the TSP conference down in Atlanta, but they are really big on driving traffic. Like, you can have all the products in the world. You can have 100 AI images available on your Etsy site, but if you don't drive traffic to them, you aren't going to have any sales. So you have to, let people know that your products exist. And that's what a lot of, business owners struggle with. They don't like to talk about their stuff. So you have to, get on Facebook, just like I'm on, Facebook and YouTube right now. I'm doing what I'm telling y'all to do. I'm selling my stuff. I'm marketing myself. I'm showing up. letting you guys know what it is that I do. I'm talking about my business. I'm establishing authority. You can see the types of products and services that I have. So for anybody that sells anything, you have to do the same thing. You have to let people know you exist. You have to say, hey, this is my thing. It's great. This is why it's great. This is how you buy it. You know what I'm saying? You have to consistently do that in order to continue to get sales. And that's no matter what type of business you have. You always have to drive traffic and you have to, market. So that's the biggest thing. And a lot of times I find that people are afraid. They're afraid to put themselves out there, and you got to do it scared because, you know, it's scary to get out here. When I'm trying to think, how long have I have had a YouTube channel since I think 2013, either 2012 or 2013. And my first video, if I'm not mistaken, I kind of chronicled my when I had my fibroid surgery. I think that was the first video that I put on YouTube. And I was a little bit scared. It was weird, sitting there like looking at the camera, talking to the camera. It can be a little weird, because it's not like you're talking to a room full of people or talking to another person. You staring at a camera screen and talking. It's a little weird. So you have to a lot of people have to psych themselves up to get on their phone or get in front of a, video cam and start, or, like a webcam, and start talking and, selling their thing. And they taught themselves out of it. They're like, oh, I don't want to be on camera. And I mean, you cannot be on camera and you can still sell your stuff, but you can do it either way. I think it's probably easier to sell your stuff when you show your face because you're connecting. The audience can connect with you and see who they're buying from, but you can be faceless as well. But the point is, you gotta either post on social media, you have to create an email list, you have to drive traffic to the thing that you're selling. Wherever your link is to buy your thing, you have to drive traffic there. You can't depend on anybody else to do that for you. That has to be one of the paramount, that is the paramount element of your business. Like after you have the product, the next most important thing is to make people aware of your product, and that's through marketing. So I hope I drove that point home. My intent was to belabor that point for a minute, because you have a lot of people that are like, oh, I made this AI picture, or I have these, AI images, and nobody's buying it. Do people know that you exist? Have they seen that you have it? You can't just post it on Etsy and expect to wake up a month from now and have 1,000 sales if you never told anybody, that you have products on Etsy. Because Etsy is not just gonna send you traffic. It doesn't work that way. You have to put in some work in order to help people know that your products are there. So hopefully that drove the point home. If that drove the point home for somebody give me a thumbs up, so I know y'all listening and that it's making sense. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So what I want to do, so I see a heart, so thank you. So it's resonating with somebody, so I appreciate that. Thank you. So I am going to share what I'm going to do. Let me see. I'm going to share my screen, and we are going to go over into ChatGPT, and we are going to come up with a plan. So I'm using ChatGPT 3.5. And if you hang out with me till the end, I'm going to send you guys this conversation. So let's get started. So for people that are new to ChatGPT, and let me introduce myself because I've been on for like a half hour, so it might be some new people that are coming in. I am Meredith Hurston. This is Dive into AI with Meredith, and tonight we are talking about how to start selling your AI art. I have the group, I'm the admin for Easy AI Prompts Facebook group. And we ask people when they come into the group, we ask them like a couple of questions. And one of the questions we ask is, what is your biggest question about AI? And a lot of people put in their question is, how do I get started selling it? Or how do I sell my art? That's like probably the number one question, second to how do I get started? So, I want to kind of give you guys a little bit of a plan for how you can get started with selling your AI art. And I am going to do that with ChatGPT because I feel like in the Easy AI Prompts Facebook group, a lot of people come in, for the art, but there are other aspects of AI as well, particularly ChatGPT. ChatGPT is an extremely useful tool. So I like to demonstrate using it so that people see how that they can use it and apply it to their questions, to their business, to their personal life, all of that, because ChatGPT is like a personal assistant and they do have a free plan. I have the paid plan, which is $20 a month. And if you are interested in selling AI art and you want to use DALL-E 3, you need to have the paid ChatGPT plan because you cannot use Bing AI art and sell that commercially. If you try to sell it on Etsy or PayHip, I don't know about PayHip, but if you try to sell it on Etsy or TikTok or anything like that, they will shut your account down. They'll just close your account and that'll be that. So you want to be careful. You want to make sure that you're abiding by the terms of service that these AI generators have. So I am using ChatGPT 3.5 because I am going to share this conversation, and I want people, whether they're on the paid or free plan, to be able to get the link to this conversation and kind of follow along and continue the conversation if they want to. So let's say, okay. I have been creating AI images in Midjourney and DALL-E. I have some good ones and I want to start selling them. Please help me with a plan to sell them. I need to know what platforms are good for beginners and how to get started. Let's see what that says. Oh my God, that was like really fast. So what did it say? It says choose your best creations, create a portfolio, and then it says select selling platforms. So it's telling me Etsy, which is one of the ones that we talked about. It's saying Redbubble, and Redbubble is like a print on demand service, and then Society6 is also like a print on demand service. Then it says pricing your art, determine the price for your AI, consider factors like the time it took to generate them, the platform fees. Oh yeah, we talked a little bit about Etsy fees, and the perceived value of your work. So you can use the tool to kind of like study. So if you're planning to sell on Etsy, you can get on Etsy and basically do like look at other people that would be selling in the same category as you. So if you're selling I don't know, clip art or stickers, look up those categories like that are similar. Say like if you're selling cartoon stickers, look up cartoon stickers on Etsy and see like how much people are selling those for. Like, are they selling, like 8 stickers for $5 or something like that? And you want to decide if you're going to sell like just digital products, like if you're just going to sell the images themselves, or if you're going to sell like print on demand physical products. Print on demand physical products is like a whole nother beast, but you can just sell the AI art by itself. You can just sell a digital product by itself, but that's your decision. So just give some consideration to those things and just look to see what, who would be your competitors, how much they are selling their products for, and like how they're bundling them, like what you get when you buy it, like all of that. Just see, and then, price yours accordingly. You can price it maybe a little bit more, the same, and just see how it goes. And you can always, change your price or put your products on sale, if you choose to. And that, I'm glad I just said that, because that reminded me of a very important point. So if you people like sales. So if you want to be able to put your product on sale like on a regular basis, you want to price your product, you want the regular retail price of your product to be high enough that will support you having sales. So for example, if your regular retail price is $10, you can afford to have a 50% off sale if you want to be able to sell it at $5. But if you list your regular retail price at $5 and you decide to have a 50% off sale, you probably aren't going to want to sell anything for $250, because that's going to make you very little money. By the time you consider your Etsy fee and your listing fee, you might be making, around $1 or so if you sell something for $250. So you definitely don't want to price yourself too low. And when you're considering your regular retail price, you want to give yourself some leeway, so that when you do want to discount your prices, you're not just making nothing. You're not making no profit. So I hope that makes sense. And I didn't intend for this to be like a whole business workshop or anything like that, but I'm just trying to give you guys some basics for when you start selling your AI art. Like, I want to just encourage you to kind of get out there and get started. And you might make some mistakes in the beginning. We all make mistakes. I have had an entrepreneurial mind, and I have been trying one business venture or another since 2006. I started making soap. So that's 18 years ago. So I've been in this game a long time. You are definitely going to make mistakes. So when you make mistakes, just dust yourself off and get back up and get back to it. Okay. So let's get back to what ChatGPT said. So pricing your art, promotions and marketing. So I mentioned that earlier. You have to make sure that you're marketing your product, you're promoting your product to people, because they have to know you exist in order to buy. So promotion and marketing, building an audience and promoting your work is crucial. You can utilize social media channels like Instagram, Twitter, TikTok to showcase your art and engage with potential buyers. Consider running targeted ads if your budget allows. So that's a whole thing too. I have not run TikTok ads, but I know that TikTok seems to be a pretty solid medium for marketing your business, and I've heard good things about TikTok ads, but I have not done it myself. I have done Facebook ads, and I've had good luck with Facebook ads. So you can run a Facebook ad you can start for like $5 a day. You can do less than $5 a day. It depends on the amount of money you have and, what you're willing to invest. But you can get started with as little as $5 a day. So if you want to run, a $5 a day campaign for 7 days, that's $35. That's not a ton of money. You know what I'm saying? And you can play with it and see how well that does. That's a conversation for a different day about how to do Facebook ads, but that's something to give some consideration to, like if you're a new business and you want to get eyes on your product and service, to just kind of test to see if there's a market for what you're trying to sell. Number 7, any like business coach or entrepreneur that is making money in this game will tell you that consistency is key. Like, you have to be consistent and show up. It's something I struggle with. I think it's something a lot of people struggle with. You have to be consistent. Like, I'm being consistent by showing up every week for this live stream. My goal is to, go live every Thursday at 7 p.m. like all of this year. And I'm sure there's going to be weeks where I don't feel like doing it, but I'm going to be consistent. Like, you have to kind of purpose in your heart and be determined to be consistent. So if that means, posting every day on social media, here are my stickers, or here is my, AI art, this is my portfolio, that's what you should do. I mean, if time permits, like if you want to do 3 days a week or 5 days a week, decide how many days a week that you're going to do it, and promise yourself you'll do it and keep your promise. So that's all I will say about that. Learn and adapt. And I kind of hinted on this a little bit ago. Like, you're going to make mistakes. So just continuously be learning. YouTube is a wonderful resource. I cannot stress that enough. I'm going to say that again. YouTube is a wonderful resource. Please use it. I learned how to do my hair from YouTube. I learned how to apply makeup from YouTube. I learned how to fix my car. I learned how to fix things around my house. I learned how to do all sorts of things from YouTube. YouTube can be one of your best friends. Utilize that resource. Please, sir and ma'am. And learn. You can learn, like I was just talking about Facebook ads. You can learn a little bit to get you started about Facebook ads on YouTube. If you're going to do that, if you're going to take that advice, go look up Facebook ads, at least from 2023. Look up a recent video. Don't look at Facebook ads from 2022 because that's going to have changed. So if there's like how to run Facebook ads for 2024, look that up. So, okay. All right. YouTube is a great resource. Podcasts are a great resource. There are business coaches in this space. I'm going to give you a link to one at the end of this video. Tap into resources where you can learn and also adapt. So when you make mistakes, don't just write yourself off. I'm a failure. No, you're not. We all make mistakes. Dust yourself off and get back up there and keep going. Oh, and this also says learn from your sales and customer feedback. So if you have if you put out 10 different pieces of AI art that you are, trying to sell, and 2 of them are selling more than the other 8, put ads on those 2. Try to get those in front of more people because that means that, it's appealing to somebody. So try to sell more of those, make your money that way. And, once, the important thing I forgot, build a email list from day one. Get you a, email service provider and build your list from day one. You can get started with that for free. So I think you can. I'm pretty sure you can. So I think you can use Mailer. So I use MailerLite for my email service provider. I will drop that in the chat because I like MailerLite. They do good by me. So MailerLite. Trying to think if I have an affiliate link for MailerLite. I don't know if I do. I may not. And I don't want to take time away from the content we're going through. So I'm going to just drop MailerLite in the chat. So check out MailerLite. You can get started for free, I think up to 500 subscribers. Oh, it is free up to 1,000 subscribers. There you go. So you can start your email list for free. So please be sure to do that. And the reason why you want to start an email list is because social media is fickle. These platforms will shut your account down quicker than you can blink your eye. Like we were talking about, if you sell, say you don't listen to my advice and you decide that you're going to sell from Bing AI and you go over to TikTok or Etsy and you start selling there, and they shut down your account and you had, maybe you had 15,000 followers on, TikTok or something, and you're showing them, your AI art and they're buying or whatever, but then your account gets shut down because you violated some sort of terms. You can't reconnect with those people because you didn't have their email address. So it's important to build your email address or email list from day one. Don't be so excited to get started that you forget that step. That is so important. Having an email list is really vital to your business. I'll tell y'all a secret. Every time I send an email list, I would say 95% of the time I send out an email offering a product or service for sale, I at least get one sale. At least one. So it's always worth my time. It's never not worth my time to email my list. Every time I send out an email, I'm not always selling something. I send a weekly email announcing this live stream. So I'm not selling anything in that live stream. But when I do it, when I send an email, people respond they're showing up to this live stream as a result of me, sending out this email. So, hey, to the people that opened my email and clicked on tap in, welcome. I'm glad you're here. So, email works. I promise you it works. It's not a waste of time. And you will see that once you start an email list. What else? Legal considerations. Ensure that you have the rights to sell your AI generated images you create, especially if you're using tools like Midjourney and DALL-E, which may have specific terms and conditions. So Midjourney does allow you to sell. I don't know why it said that. DALL-E, it depends on the generator you're using. So inside of ChatGPT, DALL-E does allow you to sell commercially, but with Bing, you cannot, because Bing uses DALL-E as well. So then the last tip is to track your finances, given your goal of replacing your full-time income. So that's something that I had shared with ChatGPT. So it's saying, to keep track of your finances. So that's another thing. So like if you start selling AI art and it's going really well for you, you want to make sure that you track your finances, set aside your taxes and, all of that thing, all those things, because if, you have an increase in revenue, that means you pay more taxes. So just keep track of that. Don't spend all the money that you make. What else? So let's see. Thanks. This is great advice. What tips do you have for me to get started on Etsy? I want to make sure I get a good start and do things the right way so that I can have the best chance at being successful. So this gave some good ideas, and it also provided some additional insight. So it said create a unique shop name. So my suggestion would be to think about like what type of products you're going to be selling and who your target audience is. Like who do you think would enjoy the products that you're selling, and come up with a name that would appeal to those people. And then again, it reiterates having high quality images. And so it has detailed descriptions. So remember, we talked about using like a GPT inside of ChatGPT to help you with your product descriptions. So I highly recommend that you do that, in terms of that will help you be found on Etsy. Excuse me, like when people are searching for a specific thing, if you have a good detailed description, excuse me, your product will show up. And do your keyword research. So I don't know how familiar you guys are with the term SEO, which is search engine optimization, but keywords, like you say you're selling stickers, you want to make sure that you have the word sticker, in your keywords. And so you can kind of look up, you can do keyword research, and there's like some paid tools that you can use to help you do keyword research for Etsy. But you might want to pair the word sticker with something else, like if it's Valentine's Day stickers or Mother's Day stickers, or something. There's like a whole strategy behind keywords, but just know that keywords are important and it's going to help you be found. We already talked about pricing strategy. Shipping and handling, that only becomes a factor if you decide to have physical products. If you're only selling like digital downloads, you don't need to consider shipping and handling. Customer service is a really big one. You want to make sure that you have good customer service and timely follow-up. So on Etsy, they have something called an Etsy Star Seller. I'm not a Star Seller because I don't spend a lot of time promoting my Etsy shop, but I do know some Star Sellers. And I'm in a community with a whole bunch of Star Sellers, the Gold Friends community. And there are several Star Sellers in there. And you have to be timely in your response, like to customer inquiries. So on Etsy, customers can send you messages and stuff like that. So it's really important that you respond to your customer inquiries in a timely fashion, or that can like ding your ability to become a star seller, or it can take your star seller status away if you don't respond to inquiries in a timely enough fashion. And that's just good, whether you're a star seller or not, whether that's platform agnostic. You want to make sure that you provide good customer service to people. Like if they have questions about the product before or after they buy, you want to, make sure that you answer their questions and, be kind and courteous. Payment policies. So you need to have like a policy in place for the methods of payment that you accept. Like if we're online, we aren't going to be dealing with cash and whatnot, but if you accept PayPal, credit cards, debit cards, if you want to accept Cash App, like you have to decide like the methods of payment that you want to accept. And you also need to spell out whether or not you're going to allow refunds. And I'm not sure, Etsy, I think, probably has their own policy about whether or not people get refunds. But like if you sell a digital download, you may not want to allow refunds because once the person has it, like they can keep the content and do whatever and just ask for a refund, and then they got the product but you didn't get your money, and that's not really right. So unless it's they're returning it because it's a poor quality product or something like that. But just give some thought to your terms and service, and whether or not you're gonna allow refunds and things like that. So you'll want to integrate your social media. We kind of talked about using social media to drive traffic to your Etsy store. So you may want to create like a Facebook page or Instagram or a TikTok specifically for your store, or you might just want to use your own, current profile. I know Facebook now has the professional mode, or is it professional? Creator mode. So now you can use creator mode to kind of like do promotion and stuff. Facebook used to not let you do that, but now they let you use like creator mode so you can promote yourself. So you can use your personal social media accounts, I guess, to promote your stuff, but you just want to put your link in your profile. Just get the word out there. Don't be afraid of overly promoting. Let me see. Oh, and collect reviews. That's super important. And that's one thing that I've been doing with my Create Your Digital Twin class. Like people have been coming to my workshop and they've been having a good experience. So I asked them to, share that on social media, share the images that you've created in this class, and, let people know that you came to this class and you enjoyed it and had a good experience, because that helps me make more people aware of the class, and that sends more people my way to learn from me, and it gives me, more business. So that's helpful to create or to collect reviews, and it creates social proof, because you can, snapshot those reviews, or you can put them on your website, you can share them, or you can reshare them or post them to your social media. Hey, Kimmy had great things to say about my product. This is how she used it. Like if you sell AI art, the person might, I know this is a poor example, and y'all don't talk about me. My coworker gave me this mug for Christmas. I know it says Merry Christmas. She gave me this a couple of years ago, and I just love this mug. But for example, if somebody, may use some AI art and put it on a tumbler, thank you, Sharon. If you're watching, I appreciate you. I still love this mug. If somebody bought AI art from you and they put it on a travel mug or something like that, and they shared it on social media, reshare that to your page. That's social proof. That's a review of what it is that you do and sell. So do that. Stay informed. Keep up to date with Etsy's policies and the changes. These companies are constantly making changes to their policies and all of that. So you just want to stay informed about whatever platform you're using, like if they're making any changes to their terms of service. And then learn from your analytics. That is so important. One thing that I do in my business is I look at my all of my analytics at the end of every month. So I look at like my social channels, whether or not I'm increasing subscribers, like on my various platforms, like my Facebook, my YouTube, people that follow my Etsy store, people that are on my email list. Like, is my email list growing? That one is really important to me, because that's my best marketing channel is my email list. So is that list growing? Are people unsubscribing? If they're unsubscribing, let me try to figure out why. because I think I mentioned a few minutes ago, like every time I send an email, if I'm promoting a product, I have a sale. So I want to continue to, grow that list and get more sales, right? So you want to learn from your analytics, like see what's going right and do more of that thing. And, whatever is going wrong, do less of that thing until you figure out a sweet spot. So let me see. What else can we learn here? So my last question is, this is great. What tips do you have to help me get to 1,000 sales? And let's see what it says. So getting to 1,000 sales on Etsy is a significant milestone and will require dedication and strategic effort. So diversify your product range, optimize your listings for SEO, run promotions and sales, utilize Etsy ads, cross promote, improve photography, offer personalization, customer engagement, shipping upgrades. That may not be applicable if you're doing digital art. Promote seasonal items, connect with other Etsy sellers, use networking, be consistent. That's the second time we've seen be consistent. Collect and showcase reviews. I just got through talking about that. Analyze your data, customer retention. And I've heard coaches say this, business coaches, in terms of customer retention. It's easier to sell to an existing customer than it is to go like secure a new customer. So that's another thing. Like when people buy from you, get permission to email them. Say, hey, thank you for buying my thing. I appreciate you. I have a new thing. Would you like to buy that? In simple terms, that's basically what you're doing. Like once a person buys from you and they like what you have to offer, most likely they may buy from you again. And it's easier to, get them to buy from you again than it is to go through the whole process of trying to court a new person and say, hey, here I am, blah, blah, blah. This is my thing. Buy from me. So that's all I have for today. I have to run because I have an 8:00 meeting, but I hope this was valuable to you guys. Oh, and I mentioned that I had some resources for you. One of my mentors has she has a session coming up where she is going to be showing a new AI artist how to get started selling art, talking about Etsy and all of that stuff. So I want to give you guys the link. I'm going to drop the link to that down in the chat now. And I'm going to visit this page and show you guys what she is offering. So this is Misha Bazemore with Coco Twins. Oops, I have to do this in the incognito browser so you can see the page. Okay, so she's having an AI summit for beginners. It's happening tomorrow and Saturday. So if you click the link that I just dropped down in the chat, let me add it to the broadcast so you guys can see it. So it's bit.ly and it's Meredith with a capital M and a capital CT. So if you click that link or type that link in, it will take you to this page and you can learn more about her summit here. So it's AI Art Summit 2024, and this is for beginners. Welcome to AI Art and Entrepreneurship. And this is for beginners, no prior experience. And you're going to go over finding your niche, like what area you want to focus on in terms of creating your AI art or selling your AI art. They're going to talk about selling digital products, prompt guides, how to get started on Etsy with your listings and your SEO, and also branding and marketing. So they are getting started tomorrow at 7 p.m. It's going to be online, which is virtual. It's going to be a lot of fun. I learned from Coco Twins. I love Coco Twins. I'm a part of their of the community there. So I'm sharing this resource with you guys to help you get started if you're interested in selling your AI art. I highly recommend Coco Twins, and I highly recommend this AI Art Summit. So check that out. And I did promise you guys that I was going to give you, I don't know if I mentioned it earlier, but I'm going to give you guys a link to this chat. So if you are interested in the link to this chat, this would, if you, once I share the link with you guys, it'll take you right over into Chat GPT. If you want the link to this, let me give you the link to grab that. So I'm going to give you the transcript. So if you complete this form and submit your email address, I will send you an email with the link to this transcript. So I am going to run. I hope this was helpful. I hope that you guys have a great night and a great weekend. If you have any questions, please drop them below this video and I will respond. Get started selling your art. If that's what you want to do, it's definitely doable. Be consistent. Do it even if you're scared, and have fun and make some money. All right. I'll see y'all. See y'all next Thursday. Bye.